Welcome back to a GP Caracas game, round 2. It's FrogMaker versus Scribble. Scribble's on black-red, Ambitious Necromancer / discard. The same deck that they were running last GP. And FrogMaker is on blue-white Modal. So it's going to run a bunch of spells that have modes, and then Palisson and Nexus Possibilities allows you to choose extra modes for those spells. So FrogMaker leads off with turn 1 Patient Optimizer. So Patient Optimizer's ability is Modal, so it will work with Palisson and Nexus of Possibilities. So Scribble's also playing Maddened Inferno as one of the new cards in their deck. It basically functions as a tormenting voice that you can unearth. So Scribble is probably going to lead off with Ambitious Necromancer. And then Ambitious Necromancer, and then next turn probably try to play Madden Inferno. They can also lead off on Stolen Secrets, but yeah, they're going to Ambitious Necromancer first. And then next turn Madden Inferno, discard Rogar. The turn after that, Stolen Secrets to unearth something with Ambitious Necromancer. So FrogMaker draws Admonish. This turn, FrogMaker can pass and hold up Reconsider. They're not going to use Reconsider to draw a card in order to trigger Patient Optimizer's upgrade. So Scribble draws another 3-drop that they're more than happy to discard with Madden Inferno. So are they going to discard Dust Lieutenant or Rogar here? I guess it doesn't matter too much because they're both really good reanimation targets. So yeah, Scribble is going to evoke Madden Inferno. FrogMaker is thinking about whether to counter it or not. And they are going to counter it with Admonish. And FrogMaker gets up to 3 mana. Still, this draws another land. If they probably pass the turn holding up Reconsider again. They also attack with Patient Optimizer because Scribble is pretty unlikely to want to trade off the Ambitious Necromancer. So with Madden Inferno countered, Scribble doesn't actually have any way to discard their 3-drops. It seems like this turn they're probably not going to reanimate anything with Ambitious Necromancer. Or actually, they don't have the 3rd land yet, so yeah, they're going to have Stolen Secrets here because they don't have anything else to do, and they're going to get back Madden Inferno from that. Oh, and Madden Inferno is a Leaves the Battlefield ability, not an ETB, so the card's worse than I thought. It functions as a tormenting voice you can unearth, but even if you unearth it, all it is a 2/2 haster. Maybe not the best card to run in the deck. Anyway, Stolen Secrets goes through and Scribble names Instant. Probably taking Epic of Ekabram, and now that Scribble knows that FrogMaker has Reconsider in hand, they can play around it. So yeah, Epic of Ekabram gets discarded, and Scribble can swing with their 2/2 haster, I guess. Whacking FrogMaker down to 3. Does Scribble have any way to sacrifice Madden Inferno? I don't think they run any sacrifice in their deck. Yeah, they have no way of sacrificing Madden Inferno, so it's basically just a 2/2 haster. FrogMaker draws Tenuous Existence. 2 Tenuous Existence, actually. And Tenuous Existence would be pretty good here if they had a second white source, but right now they don't, so they can't really take advantage of it. Scribble still fails to draw the 3rd land, and now they have a hand of all 3-drops, so they can't do anything this turn, and they also refuse to swing. Does FrogMaker have any instant speed blockers? Oh yeah, they have both Panias and I guess Cane Dancer. I guess Scribble probably held back from attacking there, and I guess also to discourage Patient Optimizer from attacking. So FrogMaker plays Cane Dancer, gain back Reconsider, probably to draw a card, and that will upgrade the Patient Optimizer. FrogMaker draws into an Epic of Ekabram. So let's see what they upgrade Patient Optimizer with. They choose Hexproof. I guess they want to dodge any removal spells that Scribble is going to throw on Patient Optimizer. But right now, Patient Optimizer still can't really attack through Madden Inferno. The FrogMaker passes his turn holding up Tenuous Existence. And Tenuous Existence can snag an Ambitious Necromancer trigger. Scribble still fails to draw their 3rd land. So they might actually want to Stolen Secrets themselves here, just to get something to graveyard. Actually, no, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. So Scribble just passes. They're not even going to Stolen Secrets. Guess they're gonna wait for an ambitious Necromancer target before they Stolen Secrets. FrogMaker draws their third Tenuous Existence. Seems like both players are getting pretty unusual draws this game. Scribble still failing to draw their third land. But on the bright side, at least they're playing against a slow deck that is also not drawing too many lands or pressuring them too much. Because like this sort of draw against a burn deck would just be a death sentence. And Scribble discards Dust Lieutenant to hand size, so now they can reanimate it with Ambitious Necromancer. So yeah, I guess not drawing a land also pretty painful, but they have managed to recover from it just by discarding to hand size. Unfortunately, Tenuous Existence is going to super punish Ambitious Necromancer. Okay, Scribble still fails to draw another land. That's extremely unfortunate. The FrogMaker gets a Tenuous Existence to using the second mode to prevent Dust Lieutenant from entering the battlefield. Yes, Tenuous Existence. The first mode is a slow flicker. The second mode is Containment Priest for a turn. And it actually works really well in FrogMaker's deck because with one of those modal artifacts in play, you're getting both modes. So it's straight up just 2 mana exile a creature, and then it's flashback for 2. So you can just use one of these guys to exile 2 creatures at a pretty good rate, in fact. Scribble, Stolen Secrets, resolves, and then Scribble has to choose a card type. I'm going to choose Instant, and probably just take Epic of Ekabram. And Scribble sees the 2 copies of Tenuous Existence in FrogMaker's hand, and probably realizes that Ambitious Necromancer isn't going to be doing much this game. And no, they're taking Tenuous Existence. Does Scribble not know that Tenuous Existence has flashback? Are they just trying to reduce the number of Tenuous Existences that FrogMaker has access to? Because with right now, FrogMaker has a total of 4 Tenuous Existences that they can cast. They're swinging with Madden Inferno. FrogMaker is probably just going to take it. And they're going to run out. No, they're not going to play another Ambitious Necromancer. Which is pretty strange because they don't really have anything else to do with their mana. Okay, and FrogMaker, I'm assuming they just attack with these 2 guys. So FrogMaker can reconsider the upgrade Patient Optimizer, but I guess they're not going to. They're just going to keep up reconsider. Scribble finally draws their 3rd land. Probably more than... They're just waiting to run out a 3-drop. But FrogMaker has reconsider. Yeah, Scribble plays Dust Lieutenant, and FrogMaker is just going to reconsider it. Scribble probably thinking about whether to attack with Madden Inferno or not. Yeah, keeping back Madden Inferno doesn't really do anything here because FrogMaker can just attack with flyers. But they're going to keep it back anyways, probably to block Game Dancer. FrogMaker draws Patient Optimizer again. So Epic of Ekabram. So if you cast for X equals to 1, it doesn't really do much. So both players are in this weird situation where they can't really do much because they just haven't made any good draws. FrogMaker is going to pass a turn holding up Tenuous Existence and Epic of Ekabram for 1. So Epic of Ekabram for 1 can be a 4 mana leak if FrogMaker really needs it to be. So Scribble can try to play another 3-drop. This time Rogar. And FrogMaker, FrogMaker is just going to play Epic of Ekabram as a 4 mana leak. And FrogMaker draws another counter spell. And they're going to play out Patient Optimizer here. And by doing that, now FrogMaker can't reconsider and Tenuous Existence in the same turn. Which could have actually mattered because if Scribble had another land, or if Scribble played a land this turn and then played a discard spell, and Ambitious Necromancer triggers, the FrogMaker is forced to Tenuous Existence, then they don't have enough mana to reconsider if Scribble plays something. And actually a similar situation is playing out right now, where FrogMaker can't Tenuous Existence and reconsider on the same turn, so they have to choose which spell to let through. whether they want Rogar on the field or Fiery Temper on their Panya. I think which is probably pretty obvious. FrogMaker wants to. Oh no, they're not tenuous existencing here. They're going to reconsider the Fiery Temper. So now Rogar comes into play. Oh, I guess right, because the Panya survives, then Scribble's just kind of in danger of being hit by lethal. Yeah, but Rogar has a mode where you can just ETB deal 2 damage. Most of the time, Rogar makes 2 tokens when ETBs, but you can also use it to do damage instead. So Mysterious Lights. Mysterious Lights can return Panya to their hand. And then if they do that, then they can draw a card with Panya Adventure, which will upgrade the patient optimizers, and I think that's just lethal. It seems FrogMaker doesn't see that line, so they're just going to cycle. Well, actually, no, it's not lethal because these guys don't have flying yet. Or actually, yeah, cycling Mysterious Lights just gets the draw trigger. You don't actually have to go through the effort of returning Panya or whatever. And whacking Scribble down to 2, and passing the turn holding up tenuous existence. So Scribble finally, well no, Crumbling Precipice is pinging them. So Scribble playing Madden Inferno, just probably hoping to just get something that saves them. Actually, Fiery Temper, right? Madden Inferno allows you to discard Fiery Temper, which means you can Fiery Temper one of the creatures and then also return another creature. They're Fiery Tempering the Cane Dancer instead of Patient Optimizers. That FrogMaker is going to tenuous existence the Cane Dancer instead of, well, actually, yeah, it doesn't matter because the Optimizers are swinging for lethal anyways next turn. So on to sideboarding. FrogMaker probably wants to board in Sigil of Radiance, and, well, maybe End of Days too, because Scribble is running a pretty permanent base deck. But Sigil of Radiance definitely, because that prevents creatures from leaving the graveyard, which turns off Scribble's reanimation engine. An Epic of Hamroot. I'm actually not sure what that card does in this deck, but maybe. Otherwise, probably not. Probably nothing else. And Scribble is running a pretty minimal sideboard. I don't think they really have anything good to bring in here. Actually, Nikyle Skirmisher kills the Modal artifacts, and it's just a decent threat on its own. And then Dawson's Negotiations, not enough targets. Actually, no, the opponent has a decent number of targets, so maybe you can get some kill creature, discard 2 cards for 3 mana going on. But game 2 is already underway. Scribble has a pretty good hand of turn 1 Valdez, turn 2 Profane Emissary. Meanwhile, FrogMaker has a hand of turn 1 Panya and turn 2 Inexistence, and then some Unravelings to follow it up with. The Scribble is most likely going to go for turn 1 Valdez, although you can also go for turn 1 Sarita Flamebinder. Actually, it will be interesting to see which one they go for. And yeah, they're just going to go for turn 1 Valdez. Are they going to name low or high? I guess they're naming low in order to hit the Modal artifacts. But instead, it hits FrogMaker's Panya, which is also a pretty decent hit for them. Meanwhile, FrogMaker draws Patient Optimizer, so yeah, they get to play turn 1 Patient Optimizer instead. And Scribble is, I guess they're playing turn 2 Profane Emissary. They're playing turn 2 Profane Emissary and then probably fetching Polypools next turn. Okay, FrogMaker finally draws one of their Modal artifacts. So they're probably going to play it. Yep. And now that Nexus of Possibilities is out, a lot of FrogMaker's cards suddenly become a lot better. For example, Tenuous Existence 3-up just exiles a creature for 2 mana, and then you can flash it back for 2 mana to exile something else. Anyway, Scribble is just going to look for Polypools. But one of the problems with Profane Emissary in this kind of draw is that it forces you to spend one of your draw steps on a land when you already have tons of lands and don't really want to draw more lands. But yeah, Sarita Flamebinder will let Profane Emissary or assuming FrogMaker lets profane emissary through, let Scribble loot. So FrogMaker is deciding whether to block profane emissary or not. How much does FrogMaker value patient optimizer? Quite a lot, apparently. So now Scribble can discard Fiery Temper, and they even have enough mana to madness it, and that they can madness Fiery Temper and use it to hit the patient optimizer. At the same time, though, maybe they wanted to discard land there so that they could play a 2-drop if they drew one. Well, FrogMaker draws another land, and it's a tap land this time, so no turn 3 Unraveling. Instead, they're just going to have to be content with a Nexus possibility, Tenuous Existence, aka 2 mana, exile target creature, flashback for 2 mana. So they're going to Tenuous Existence to profane emissary, but the real Flamebinder still gets through and lets Scribble loot from that. Scribble is probably going to discard a land, and then, well, they have 4 mana, so they can play Madden Inferno plus profane emissary. Maybe they hit something. Oh, they even managed to draw Fire Temper here, so Scribble can play Madden Inferno and then discard Fire Temper and madness it. And yeah, that's what Scribble seems to be doing. Or no, they're going to be discarding their land. Okay, yeah, I guess because they want to play Profane Emissary this turn instead of just dropping Fiery Temper on face. So FrogMaker playing Patient Optimizer, and I guess they're passing, holding up Tenuous Existence in their graveyard. So Tenuous Existence is probably going to be exiling the Profane Emissary again. Scribble plays another Surreal Flamebinder. And now they're swinging with both of those guys. So now FrogMaker is going to Tenuous Existence, the Profane Emissary, to get rid of it, but the question is, do they block Patient Optimizer? And yeah, they're going to chump the real Flamebinder with Patient Optimizer. Seems like they really don't want Scribble to get the loot there, or the rummage in this case. So instead, actually had Scribble play a land this turn? Yeah, they're just going to pass the turn, holding lands in hand as discard fodder. And FrogMaker draws Sigil of Radiance, which is a pretty good draw for them because it prevents unearthed shenanigans from happening, but right now Scribble doesn't have any unearthed shenanigans going on, so FrogMaker is going to pass, holding up Unraveling. Scribble draws another Madden Inferno. I wonder if they're going to, so definitely playing Madden Inferno this turn. The question is, do they discard Fiery Temper or a land? Or I guess, yeah, they're going to attack first. So is FrogMaker going to Unraveling? FrogMaker can Unraveling on the 2nd and 4th modes, which will allow them to scry 2, draw a card, and prevent Surreal Flamebinders from doing any damage this turn. And I think that's what they're going to do. Or, no, they're going to prevent lands from tapping. They're not even going to draw cards. Huh. Guess they're trying to slow down Scribble. So now that Scribble knows that these lands aren't tapping, they're not really in a rush to play anything, so they could, like, forcing FrogMaker to Unraveling prematurely was probably a pretty good for Scribble. I mean, Scribble can play Wayfarer Shrine, and then okay, no, Scribble just doesn't care at all about their lands not tapping. They're just gonna play down Valdez post combat, not even hasted. FrogMaker draws another land, so now they have Unraveling with 3 modes. It seems like they're probably going to Unraveling for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th modes, because Scribble probably isn't playing any lands this turn, or playing any spells this turn with all their tap lands. So they have Wayfarer Shrine, so they definitely could play it. Well, they can play Stolen Secrets, and it kind of forces FrogMaker to Unraveling now. So let's see what modes FrogMaker chooses for Unraveling. Okay, yeah, they're gonna do 2, 3, and 4. So prevent 3 lands from tapping, minus 4, minus 0 to all opponent's creatures, and then scry 2 and draw a card. And I guess they're hoping, well, with the scry 2, they're probably setting up the top of their deck so that they don't draw into something that gets taken by Stolen Secrets. If FrogMaker finds a land, they probably want to put the land on top. Since Scribble doesn't know what's in FrogMaker's hand, it's pretty unlikely for them to choose enchantment, so Sigil of Radiance is pretty safe. But no, FrogMaker is going to scry 2 cards to the bottom and draws a land. So yeah, pretty likely that Scribble just straight up whips with Stolen Secrets. And yeah, they're gonna name instant, and FrogMaker has no instance in hand. But at the same time, that means Scribbl gets to see that FrogMaker doesn't really have anything in hand either. And Siege of Radiance doesn't really do that much currently because Scribbl still doesn't have the graveyard stuff out yet. Although it does prevent Cerebral Flamebinder from activating its ability, because it requires you to exile 2 cards to activate. Now Scribbl does play out their land here. And FrogMaker draws another land. They're just going to play out Sigil of Radiance, I guess, before the Scribbl can discard it. Honestly, FrogMaker might have just been better served keeping up Ares Pillar as a blocker, or just attacking with Ares Pillar. Although Scribble's at a pretty high life total, so yeah, maybe keeping back Ares Pillar as a blocker would have been better there. Maybe if Scribbl wasn't paying attention, it could have ambushed one of the Cerebral Flamebinders. So Scribbl... Oh yeah, Valdez is a 5/3 now because FrogMaker only has 1 card in hand. And they're going to discard a land and Parasitic Rebirth. Oh, okay, FrogMaker draws Tenuous Existence, which is really good now because, again, Nexus of Possibilities makes Tenuous Existence straight up just 2-mana exile creature with flashback for 2. The FrogMaker can get rid of Valdez and Tarudu, and then gets just... Oh yes, yeah, they just pass holding up Tenuous Existence. So Scribbl swings in with their whole team. FrogMaker, actually, yeah, FrogMaker can animate Ares Pillar, block, and then Tenuous Existence. So yeah, animate Pillar, block one of the Cerebral Flamebinders, tap Pillar and the Plains in order to Tenuous Existence the Valdez. The only problem with that plan is that Scribbl has Parasitic Rebirth. So now FrogMaker loses one of their lands. At least they... Actually no, Parasitic Rebirth wasn't really going to hit anything else. So Ares Pillar was probably the best target that Scribbl could have hoped for Parasitic Rebirth. So now FrogMaker gets whacked by both the Flamebinders, and Scribbl gets to loot twice, or rummage twice. Seems like they've yet to draw into anything impactful though. But the Sigil of Radiance is putting a huge damper on the sort of things that Scribbl could, or the good cards that Scribbl could draw into. I think Scribbl is just going to play Madden Infernal now. And they're probably going to discard the land and draw 2 more Madden Infernals. They've drawn all 4 Madden Infernals this game. Okay, and FrogMaker draws Unraveling, but now with all 4 modes up. Unfortunately, I don't think FrogMaker is going to be able to use all 4 modes because they kind of need to use Unraveling during combat to prevent the Cerebral Flamebinders from doing damage. And yeah, Scribbl plays out Madden Infernal pre-combat. Okay, that's really good because now FrogMaker gets to use all 4 modes on Unraveling. Scribbl definitely should have attacked first and then played Madden Inferno. Although I guess what Scribbl wanted to do there was Madden Inferno so that they could draw into more options to discard. But now FrogMaker seems to be pulling ahead in this game. And they managed to draw into Panya. So with Nexus of Possibilities out, Panya, you can play Panya for 1 mana and get 1 mode. And yeah, that seems to be what FrogMaker is doing. They're going to play Panya with X equals to 0 for 1 mana, and then Nexus of Possibilities allows them to choose an extra mode, so they get to choose 1 mode on Panya. I think they're going to return this thing to Scribbl's hand. Oh wait, does that interaction not work? I guess that interaction just doesn't work because... okay, I guess they're doing a judge call. Okay, and the judge call has been resolved. So yeah, the interaction doesn't work. And FrogMaker is just going to Panya for 0, essentially. And they top deck a land, which isn't what they need right now. They still have Tenuous Existence they still have Tenuous Existence in Graveyard, so they do have a way to not die. So they're going to play Panya at sorcery speed. They could have just held up Panya and flashed it in at end of turn, or as a blocker, but I guess they're not doing that. So they're gonna trade Panya for Madden Inferno. Are they going to Tenuous Existence? No, they're not. Well, Fiery Temper comes down and kills FrogMaker. So going into game 3, Scribble draws a hand with 1 land and a bunch of Surreal Flamebinders actually. Like, this hand might actually be keepable just because of how much looting you could possibly get from these guys. And you even have a turn 1 Valdez. FrogMaker gets a hand with one of the Modal artifacts and some cards to back it up, so yeah, they're gonna keep. And did Scribble keep already? No, Scribble hasn't even decided whether they want to keep or not. But they are going to keep, and they get rewarded by top decking a land there. Scribble's gonna run out turn 1 Surreal Flamebinder instead of Valdez. Makes sense, they want to start looting, or they want to start rummaging right away. On FrogMaker's side, Palestine is actually probably the worst Modal artifact, mostly because you have to pay extra mana in order to get extra modes. Right now, FrogMaker can't really take advantage of Palestine because they don't have enough mana to get extra modes. Whereas if this guy was a Nexus of Possibilities, we consider it suddenly a Quench that draws a card. But FrogMaker is just going to reconsider the Valdez, it seems like. That makes sense. They don't want to reveal their hand, and they'd rather not deal with Valdez later. Scribble plays in the Surreal Flamebinder and gets in, so they get to rummage twice now. And now their graveyard is stocked full of, or not stocked full of, but their graveyard does have some decent creatures to get back with Ambitious Necromancer should they ever draw one. Actually, Parasitic Rebirth also gets back one of the Surreal Flamebinders. So FrogMaker doesn't draw land, which isn't very good for them right now because they're kind of under pressure, and they do need lands to start casting their spells. Interestingly though, FrogMaker decides to play Patient Optimizer instead of cycling Mysterious Lights. And they're not going to chump with Patient Optimizer either. They're just going to let Scribble get through and rummage unimpeded. So I guess not like they could really prevent that from happening. And Dust Lieutenant forces FrogMaker to discard too. So I don't think FrogMaker is looking super hot right now. They need to draw land here or else they're in huge trouble. And yeah, that's not what they need. So right now I think they're forced to cycle Mysterious Lights because they just need to find stuff. And I guess cycling Mysterious Lights also upgrades Patient Optimizer, but they're not going to do that. So wait, so they're thinking about cycling Mysterious Lights during their opponent's turn, but then Patient Optimizer isn't getting upgraded. They can't do anything else, so they're just better off cycling Mysterious Lights there and putting the counter onto Patient Optimizer so it can start blocking Surreal Flamebinders and trading with Dust Lieutenant. But the FrogMaker is just gonna do nothing and let Valdez go through. Okay, I guess that's one reason you don't cycle Mysterious Lights just as Valdez bait. I don't think that was intentional, and even if that was intentional, I don't think that's a very good idea. So now FrogMaker probably is going to have to just crack Paladin in order to find lands. And FrogMaker just lets everything through, which forces another discard from Dust Lieutenant. The FrogMaker finally going to crack Paladin. The Scribble plays Profane Emissary. I guess they can fetch a land next turn. And yeah, FrogMaker is just not going to cycle Paladin either. Well, they draw a land anyways, so they're not super punished for that, but Paladin is just sitting around doing basically nothing currently. And FrogMaker just wasted 2 mana by just not doing anything with it. And in this sort of board state where you're under pressure and every turn counts, doing nothing with your mana for a turn is not what you want to be doing. So FrogMaker is, I guess they have Unraveling up, so they're looking to Unraveling next turn. But they can only choose one mode for it, and it's going to get discarded by Dust Lieutenant. Scribble is just going to swing out with their entire board. And FrogMaker is going to Unraveling, I guess, doing the -4 mode. So that does fog them for a turn, but Scribble can just crack the Omen to force FrogMaker to discard their last card. And then FrogMaker is kind of in trouble because they need to top deck something. Oh, and Rogar even comes down and kills Patient Optimizer. And they top deck a land. I think not cycling the mysterious light stat turn when they had patient optimizer in play was a huge misplay. And even after that, like passing the turn and then not cracking the palace after that, and just like going one entire turn cycle without spending any of your mana, which basically means you wasted 2 mana. Yeah, that turn was not FrogMaker's best showing, definitely. But it seems like Scribbl's black-red attrition deck is going to take this game.